In 1872 came the first Married Women's Property Act. And this is all about, and this is largely, I think, where you ask any visitor to Cornwall, all Cornish ports are fishing ports. They didn't do anything else but fish because we've got this legacy from all the Victorian painters, which, as we know, is not true. I had one woman campaign to say Fowey has never been a fishing port. But she'd inherited from her husband. The ship was, or had already been started before her husband died. But if we go down this list, you'll see the range of people, all local people, so it's very much local investment. And you've got here Fanny Stevens, who was a grocer, and she's got one share, and Elizabeth Salter widow has got a share. But Jane herself has got the vast majority of the shares. It's 36 shares, so she owns over half of that ship. Jane Hayes had been in it as a widow. She'd only been married 2 years when she was widowed, and her husband had been a shipbroker, so she inherited quite a few shares. Now look at this, she is earning shares, she's holding shares in a range of ships. And, you know, very nice too. That's a nice bequest to have from your late husband, even if, you know, sadly you weren't married very long. And she's selling shares when she thinks the ship's perhaps not bringing in enough investment. She sells it. It's a portfolio in the same way as anybody else has a portfolio of shares. She takes that inheritance and increases it quite considerably. These have to be very active investors. And Mary Hicks Hayes, same thing. She inherits those 20 shares in 16 ships, but look what she did with them. She increased them to 43 shares across 22 ships.
Now this big ship, the burial dates from about the mid-9th century. It contains the bodies of 2 women and to sort of analysis of the bones and so on. These women are interpreted as a high-status woman and her accompanying slave. And the memory of the women in our family was preserved in the names of the boats. So we had the Patsy, who was named for my grandfather's cousin, the Mary, which was named for my great aunt, who was Violet Mary, and so on.